Alright, what's up? I'm gonna talk about what I've done over the past week since I haven't made a video recently. So I think when Bitcoin was crashing, I had trading bot and I bought and sold Bitcoin like in a like in a few hours, and then I made a little bit of profit. Then I bought this stock, which is like some whatever. I don't really know. It's like some whatever thing. And I think I'm about break even on it, but it looks good on the longer time frame. So I'll probably just hold it for a longer period. Then I bought this stock, probably like low key, probably not gonna work out for me. But there's been a lot of like turnover and volume with this recent rally, so it's like maybe it will stick. I don't really know. It could be like a sweep before it goes lower. And if that's the case, I honestly plan to get out whenever it goes back below this bull market support band. Because I was looking at it and I was like, this really does not have too many fake outs. Like the second it breaks above, it pretty much goes for a while. Even here, I mean, the only fake out I could find was like this fake out. But even then, it was like pretty low, like pretty very low, and then it rallied a bunch still. So, I mean, I don't really know what will happen, but yeah. I mean, we could also consolidate like this, where obviously there were some breakouts, but even here it didn't break above it first. And here we broke above it, so I was like, okay. Plus, there was some dark pools here also. This stock is fine. Obviously, I'm not liking these wicks, honestly. The stock is also very volatile, so I might just sell it, honestly. But for now, I'll keep it and I'll see what happens today. The stock I'm liking also. I guess I get dividends, which is nice. Yeah. Yeah. So I guess that's what I did portfolio wise. Oh yeah, I also shorted Nasdaq, and then I bought puts on the Qs. So I'll talk about that just because, yeah. So I guess I just don't believe, like, so basically the start of this consolidation, you don't really care because like rotations can happen, right? And here we started rotating into healthcare, which is fine. Then we rotated into like XLP and stuff like that now, and it's just like not now all of these aren't like industrials is doing good, and that's not really a defensive, I don't think. And then XLF is, I guess it's doing fine. Like if you take it from October, I guess it still kind of is in a consolidation, but it's not bad. And some like regional banks are doing good and stuff like that. But I guess the big banks aren't doing too good, right? Um, so like just a lot of sectors are doing fine, I guess. Like energy, I don't think is really defensive. But I do think you can say this is like data center hype, probably kind of my idea. Yeah. So basically, like I just don't believe in this rally, like because tech has been getting really sold. Like, if you look at these volumes, like this sell is a lot worse, and then you have like barely any volume on the buys. But when you start selling, you have a bunch of volume on the sells, bunch of volume on the sell, bunch of volume on the sell, and mainly all of these red candles are more than the green ones, except for like this one. But it's like look at all of these. If you add this, it's still a lot higher. And then look, you have this one big green, and then immediately all of these greens are less than the reds, right? And then you have another sell off, and the volume is just like it really looks like the market wants to get rid of tech. And then you look at the Nasdaq, and Nasdaq, same thing, right? You have these increases of red volume when you sell, and then whenever you rally back, there's basically no volume, no volume. Then you dip again, huge volume on the dip. Then you rally back, barely any volume, and the volume keeps dropping, right? And then look, this red, I mean, not too much volume on this dip, but the dip isn't even that big, right? And this is still um This is still bigger than the this stuff, right? I mean, I think it is, or maybe it's the same size, but I'm not trying to force my narrative. This could be an exception, but it's not a big dip regardless, right? Then you have increasing volume. This is like a mix of green. Then you have a dip, but it's like I don't want to talk about everyone, but it's like it's very true for this. It's true for this sell off. It's true here. It's true here. It's true here. True here, and it's true here also. Like look at these elevated like any green volume is substantially less than these red days, right? Then you have this other rally, right? Look at this big rally. Look at the volume and how it's way different than this. Like there's so much more selling and volume on this red day. And then you had this day, there's no volume. There's no volume yesterday, and there might not be any volume today. So I am very skeptical about this consolidation. It looks like if you just look at it from a volume analysis, it looks very distributionary, kind of similar to this. Honestly, like if you look here, you're at a big red day. You have bigger red candles than the green candles, more red, and then here middle like doesn't really matter, like kind of mixed, right? Because you have this red, but then you have also these greens, and this red's smaller, but this red's bigger. So it's like a mix, right? Then you have this sell off. This red candle is huge, right? Then you have a mix again. Then you have small green. Then you have this red that's a super elevated, right? Like it's pretty obvious that the market had a high probability of selling off here, right? And then you go into the tariff tantrum, right? You can make the argument for here and how it didn't turn out. And you would be right, ultimately, right? But usually when corrections happen like this, it's like, look at this, right? So much red candles, barely any green. So much red, barely any green. Red, barely any green. Then you have this, not convincing at all compared to this sell-off, right? Then you have all of these reds, right? Barely any green, all of this red. And then you enter the bear market, and the volume is huge, right? And I honestly think this is kind of similar to this, but this is happening over a longer time period, which I find very interesting. And then, so just take the volume analysis, right? And then if you look at very, like other ratios, like let's take mags over SPY, for example. This looks terrible. It looks terrible, right? So it's like, and then let's just overlay SPY, right? So you have SPY basically consolidating, right? And then ever since December, right, the correlation with tech has just fallen off, right? So it's like we had a low, then we had a lower high, and now we have a lower low. Maybe we'll have another lower high, and then, but it's like, this looks like it's about a dump, honestly. Like, I don't think no one will ever buy this. I mean, obviously you can be like, oh, like this isn't even a double bottom, right? It looks like it's gonna go to this point 0.927, then get rejected again, right? Like, and then this is all while all of this stuff is still consolidating. Like, I really do think we lost our leaders, and it just doesn't look good, right? But it obviously is open to interpretation, right? And then another reason why I kind of bought puts on the NASDAQ is this crypto crash that happened recently. It's just, obviously I was trying to compare it to like, because I do think Bitcoin's a forward leader and kind of shows the direction that NASDAQ wants to go. But like even in 2022, Bitcoin fell 41% before the NASDAQ actually started breaking down from its consolidation. And this happens over like November to January. So it happened over 2 months, right? Then it happened again in 2018 also, right? This was a lot shorter, but it's like Bitcoin fell 50%. And then the NASDAQ fell like 20% or something. And it had it's like the Volmageddon or whatever, right? Had a huge volume thing. And obviously this happened over a shorter time frame, but I think stuff was more volatile back then, right? And here you have a longer, like this has happened over October to February. So it's happened a longer time, and then we're down 50%. And maybe we start breaking down here. I mean, obviously, this is very speculative, but it happened the last two times. Maybe the timing is a bit off. I bought my puts in March, so I do have some time. But I do think, like, I could be completely wrong here, but just looking at everything, it just doesn't look that good. Now, I'm not gonna say it's gonna happen tomorrow or this week or the next week, but I do think, like, as time goes on, the probabilities just are stacking more and more in your favor, unless things start to change, right? Unless Bitcoin SPY, I mean, like SPY over the mags or mags over the SPY, like starts to improve and stuff like that, right? Otherwise, like, it just doesn't look good. And then the silver crash, right? Like, I think, this is like a classic, like like it's over. I mean, it's over for silver. You could say it's not over for equities, but it's just like, I think with Bitcoin crashing, silver crashing like this, and all of this volatility in the markets, like, it's, and then with the equities like Nasdaq and the SPY just holding up, I don't think, like, because what, like, Bitcoin really started crashing January, right? Like here. Same with silver, right? Started maybe crash like early January. But it's like you have all of this stuff crashing here, right? And you've had this consolidation, and I think these assets crashing kind of shows us where the SPY and the Nasdaq are going to go, just because like usually they all follow this path, kind of just different time frames, stuff like that, right? That's just kind of my take. And then if you look at volume stuff, let me. So basically, I think this is a kind of distribution, and then we had another print after a while. You can say it's not distribution, like there wasn't distribution here. So I mean, you can make the argument, obviously. But if you go back on the last like 5 years, obviously there's no like huge prints here, which I mean, obviously charts like this are open to interpretation, right? But like here you had a bunch of prints over here. Then you had the bear market, right? I'm sure there were other prints, like, honestly, let me, 21 to, let's say 2023, right? And let's see what it looked like here. Yeah, so you had these two prints, then you had a sweep, and then basically tech just rolled over, right? And I want to say, like, these aren't number one prints, right? Like, this is 5 million shares, which is a bunch, right? Yeah, it's really a bunch. But, and then you had the sweep where things actually went down. And I do want to say that, like, obviously it's not, but it's like, if you ask me, like, this kind of does look distributionary, right? Like, you have I mean, I'm not sure what these are, honestly, but like this, you have 2 million shares, like, you have so much distribution on this, right? Like, all of these are over like 1 million shares. Then you have this $250 million sweep, right? And this, we're still like below the sweep, I think, right? I mean, obviously the market's still moving, but it's like, you have the sweep, and then tech, it looks like tech might roll over, honestly. I don't really know what's gonna happen, but like, I don't think tech looks like tech doesn't look that good from obviously a dark pool perspective. Then you have this energy, like energy ran, and now you have this number one sweep. Obviously the amount is not that much, but it's still something to take into account, because when this number two happened, then the tariff tantrum happened. So it's like, I think this is either accumulation and it's going to continue to rise, or it's a sell and either will consolidate here or will drop here. But even if we consolidate here, I think the energy sector, as well as many other sectors, having this parabolic run is what kind of kept the Nasdaq from falling harder. Because my base case is that tech is gone, right? So the only reason we've been holding up since here is because other sectors like energy have had huge runs, right? But after this, like I don't think it can keep on running, right? It's kind of my argument, right? And then here, obviously we're above this, but like you had number 6, and then we went a little bit above it, and then we had we had some correction, right? And then even 9 happened, right? I don't think this is like I really do wonder what it looks like at a higher time frame. I mean, it's kind of hard to say if this is like a distribution. They seem more like trades, but I don't know. Like after 7 happens, I do think maybe we make a lower low. Who knows, right? Like 6 happened, we make a low. 7 happens, maybe another lower low, right? Who really knows? Let's see if there's anything on the higher time frames. Like maybe there was a sweep here. I mean, I feel like that would make it look a lot more promising. Let's see. I'm not 100% sure. I might have to make it. This is one hell of a. Let's do like top 20, and let's see if there's anything like up here or something. Yeah, I mean, I guess all of this speculative stuff just happened. What if it's just a dark pool, honestly? Let's just see. And like some of these things is kind of hard to show a directional. Yeah, so like there was a bunch of selling here. Jeez. And then there's a sell here. And I guess we haven't had any dark pools, but we have a bunch of like lit exchanges. So I do think it's interesting. Yeah, very, very weird, honestly. It's interesting how there's none over here, like dark pool wise. I guess they're just all lit exchanges now, which is weird. Very interesting. But then if I do and lit, let's see. Yeah, this is like crazy. Like there's just so much activity, honestly. It totally takes out all of this other stuff. I mean, obviously these aren't all so like it seems like they're buying and then exiting stuff like that, but very weird, honestly. Um, yeah, this is crazy. There's just so much. I mean, it's very hard to get a read on something like this, honestly. But yeah. Then here's like bonds, and personally, um, it looks like there's a lot of dark pool activities like as of recently, and it just makes me wonder if this is because the bonds also started kind of consolidating with the Nasdaq, and now there's big prints on the bonds, and it makes me think that these institutions are banking on some big bond movement, honestly. But it could also be nothing. But it's pretty much every print, like these signified the bottom for 2022, and maybe these signify the top, and maybe this falls with the Nasdaq and stuff like that. Who really knows, honestly? It's just speculation. But then this also for emerging markets. It's not a big print, but I did find it interesting. The last time we had a pullback, and this time, I guess we're above it, but I don't know. It just like because I think emerging markets have been kind of late cycle recently, so I do think with these prints, maybe it's distribution, but I could obviously be wrong. Yeah, I don't think there's many. I guess yeah, like in 2022, I guess there was a print, and maybe these are similar prints. Who really knows, right? Yeah, and then maybe this is whatever. I don't really know, but You see what I'm saying, right? And then, like for when I said the mags over SPY, right, and how it looked bad. I mean, obviously you can make like your own charts, right? Like Amazon, Apple, Meta, Netflix, Google over the SPY. Like this doesn't look. You can say this doesn't look too bad, honestly, but it does look like it looks kind of similar to 2022, where we had like a consolidation, then a fall, consolidation, then maybe a fall again. I mean, I don't really know like what who the major leaders are because obviously like if you put Nvidia over this chart, like it's been making way higher highs, right? So maybe Nvidia is also the leader, but yeah, I mean, like even if you look at Nvidia and stuff like that, I do think this is also just like, I mean, like obviously you could go here. It's hard. Okay, the thing is, this does not look. This looks like a better consolidation just because of the gap up, right? And then here's not really a consolidation; it's more of a pullback, right? Then this. All right, then this. Honestly, I would have said that this was distribution, and I guess we did have the tariff crash, but this I do think is like I don't know, like this just looks so bad, honestly. And then you have like you also have like the volume decreasing also. So I don't know. I do think Nvidia can have another scare that puts it back to like 120, and that would obviously hurt the tech markets a lot. Obviously, I'm just speculating, right? But it's just like anytime I look at the markets, they just do not look that good. Even the SPY, like you have this huge sell, then the buys, you have this huge sell. All of these red candles are just a lot more than the green candles, and I think that's just like very distributionary. Yeah, so that's why I sold. That's kind of my thesis on the market. Obviously, I thought Bitcoin was gonna have like a blow off top last year, and it didn't, and um, I was wrong, right? So it's not like I'm perfect. So I could be wrong about this too and lose a little bit of money. So my positions is I just short this a little bit and I have these puts and then I'm just like monkey dumb long on the markets, right? And I just look for longs everywhere else on the markets. And then if the markets come out, these will really print. And if I'm wrong, then I'll lose like sizable money on these, but hopefully my monkey long profits offset the losses, right? If that makes any sense, right? But yeah, that's that. Thanks for watching. That's it.